Well, now it's time to focus on men. We love men here at the show, and we are really concerned that men aren't talking enough about their health, and we want to help support them because, unfortunately, more men are getting stressed. And you don't hear about it. You said this in one of our earlier episodes. We don't hear about it until they're just about on the table having a cardiac arrest.
Absolutely.
Too much stress is going on for the men in our lives. So we have our one-man panel on the couch today. This is Mike Eyres from My Remedy. Hey, Mike.
Hi,
good to have you back.
Nice to have you. Thank you for having me back on.
What's going on with men?
Well, lots really. You know, it's interesting what we've been talking about. Been sitting here listening, and what I realised is that when men come to see us, they're stressed to the max, but they haven't presented for stress. You know, it'll be the high blood pressure, or the doctors told them their cholesterol's way out of whack, or they're really fatigued. I think that would be the main one, or they're not sleeping. And it's not until we really get talking for a while and ask them about stress, and then they're like, oh, I'm so stressed, and then it all comes out.
Right, so the stress has been often the trigger for the health.
And and usually for quite some time. They'll have been a long time of stress.
And they haven't made that connection, have they? They think, I've got high cholesterol, I caught it last week when my doctor told me I had it.
I shouldn't laugh, but
they haven't made the connection.
Just wow. So I think it's a very pertinent question, and you brought in the listener this week, right?
Yes, we just saw this. This was last week, so totally topical for what we've been talking about.
Depression. What is the title there?
Work blues, job stress breakthrough. So it's more aimed at depression, but also anxiety. But the stress is really the cause of the depression. And what's cool about it is that they're really talking about the changing attitudes, and that employers are noticing stress and the effects that it's having, and reduced productivity and worker turnover and all these things, and they're actually putting programs in place to help people and have people come out and talk in a safe way. Because one of the really interesting things in that article, I thought, was that only 20% of people are willing to talk to their employer about their stress and if they're struggling with mental health.
Is that because of the judgment?
I think so. It's the stigma that or the perceived stigma around it, even though employers, by their surveys, have said they want their employees to talk to them about it.
Wow.
So there's a bit of a disconnect. So it's really cool. We're moving in a good direction, I think.
We're getting more sensitive.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, I did a bit of research recently, and I actually found an article on the Forbes website which highlighted the top 10 stresses for men in their lives that can affect, or may affect or contribute to their health. So we've got the top 10 stresses coming up for you right now. Let's take a look. Top 10 stresses. Number 10 was financial security for men. 9 was their image. Number 8 was silence and getting the cold shoulder from a significant other. Oh, yeah.
Is that what that means?
Yeah, number 7.
I was wondering what the sign
I know,
was.
right? Number 7 was actually silly conversations, because ain't nobody got time for that.
That's my husband's biggest stress.
Number 6 was relationships. So that's a big stress. Number 5, their deadlines. Number 4, dominance or being disrespected, particularly in the workplace. Number 3 was office politics. Number 2 was intimacy issues. And number 1, the biggest stress for men, was their health, Mike.
That's interesting.
Wow. But in my opinion, from what we've just spoken about, don't all of those stresses contribute to the picture of health you're seeing when people come into the clinic?
Definitely. And it's interesting that health is number 1, because so we're really stressed about our health, and probably in that I imagine it's weight and fitness and mental health and sleep are all probably encompassed in that word health. But we're not seeking help. So,
because as long as you can get out of bed and do your job, you must be okay.
So it's normalising.
Yeah. Just because everyone else is like that, so therefore it's probably no problem. I'm just another normal person.
Gotcha.
I think the other takeaway is that so many of those things on the top 10 are either work or the home.
That's what I noticed as well. Wow, so it really is quite significant that work and home, it's the nurture side, it's the environment side that's really affecting stress and wellness. And, you know, as you've mentioned before, Lynette, long-term stress over a period of time may contribute to the effects of anxiety or to depression. I mean, this is one of the things we've talked about. Is this becoming more common as well, Mike?
Yeah, I think so. And one of the things I really wanted to let people know tonight is that even though what we see in clinic is that stress has been for such a long time, and they have these other health concerns, if it's blood pressure or cholesterol or weight management, but just by intervening on stress, we see really quick results. It's so cool to see people come back within 3 or 4 weeks and they're almost a different person walking in the door.
Seriously? So sometimes when you're working with somebody, because we were talking pre-show about your wellness being like these layers of an onion, right? So sometimes you might highlight the outer layer of that onion, you peel that away, and then you're getting down to the next core layer and the next core layer until you help them find their way back down the ladder of health to being optimal living. Is that what you're experiencing?
Yeah, so I think by going directly to stress tends to be further into the onion for quite a lot of people. And all those other symptoms
hanging off it.
Yeah, are covering it up.
Wow, that is truly amazing, and a good conversation to have, considering that's what tonight's topic is about.
And is it the old stiff upper lip as well? You know, you're the man, you're meant to be taking care of the chickens and your brood, and you can't look weak because you've got to hold it all together. And there is, I think historically quite a lot of pressure on that. The kind of the cool thing about maybe your generation, I sound so old, is that we are at least starting to come together and work as a team, you know, so that we're starting to share the stress a little bit, but I think the onus still feels that it falls very strongly on the man.
And what's different now is that, you know, our world today here in Auckland, and well, most of New Zealand probably, is that the reality is both partners have to work to make it happen.
Of course, yes.
So that's just, you know, we're all doing so much more than we probably used to be, and we're all trying to share everything. We're trying to share, I'm talking couples and families here mostly, but we're sharing responsibility for making the income, but then also for everything in the home as well. And that leads to the little ones in daycare, who get sick all the time.
Who's going to stay home?
Yeah.
Your job, my job.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. Now, I do want to ask then, because I'm getting lots of messages coming in through the different feeds tonight, a question. How do you then fix it, and how do you get men to open up and start talking? Because I know there's a lot of you, we've got a lot of women watching tonight asking me this question. Right. How do you fix men?
Well, you know, there's the resources out there, and getting to them, I guess, is the challenge. You know, there's folks like Claire, there's male life coaches as well for men, you know, but Claire's a good place to go. Naturopaths can help. GPs a lot of men have seen their GP for a long period of time. They're pretty comfortable talking to them. Counsellors, there's lots of resources out there. The parenting place is awesome. Free seminars.
And
they do men's breakfasts.
Maybe, you know, if you have a man in your life and he seems stressed, then, you know, take the reins and take him somewhere for some help. Let him know that, hey, we all get stressed. Let's go and do something about it.
And men need to help men as well. So if you see your friends struggling, you know, don't just walk away and leave them because they're boring and just hanging out with their kids all the time. You know, get them to do stuff. You know, I think guys, we're not so good about sitting around and having a chat. But we're doers. We like to do stuff.
Yeah.
So call up your mate who's struggling and get them to play a game of tennis, go fishing, whatever it is that you've done in the past together, and do it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's such great wisdom. I love that. So for those of you who are watching, and I hope that's helped. It's a real eye opener. It's so nice to have a men's perspective. And a comment's just come in. Men don't talk to anyone about stress and mental problems because it's sissy for us to discuss. But this platform made me comfortable talking about it. Well, thank you so much. It's really awesome. That's what we're here to do. Actually, you've got a question come in as well.
I do. I had a couple of questions, and this is for you.
Okay.
So sometimes it's not so easy. I just can't quit my job.
Right. So
that's a great question
from someone who was not enjoying their job.
Yeah. So this person has quite a lot of stress from their job, but they need their job to pay the bills. What are they going to do?
So, I think so long as the job is tolerable, the nutrients and herbs that we can offer as naturopaths and herbalists can really help. We can increase the people's ability to cope with stress, or maybe it's talk to a life coach and find those ways to find your joy in your life.
Get some skills, eh?
Fill your toolbox.
So the naturopathy and the condensed nutrients, which is what you like to call them, can support that stress and that anxiety.
Yeah, one of the things when I was working full-time in an office-type job was I would finish work, and instead of going and sit in traffic for an hour and a half, I went down to the YMCA pool that was down the street, and I would swim and sit in the sauna for just 20 minutes. But then by the time I'd done that, the traffic had died down. I only got home like 20 minutes later than I normally would have, and I was totally calm.
That is a great idea.
That's a great tip. I really, really like that. Now, Hypnosis Auckland just messaged in and said many people don't realise that stress causes cortisol and leads to weight gain. Would you agree?
Definitely, yes. I think the science really shows that weight gain is more hormonally related than calories in, calories out, and a lack of exercise. Definitely.
Because a lot of these people don't actually eat all that much either, do they? They're eating on the run, and they're eating, not very much and probably not very good. So it's not always energy in and energy out when you're in a stressful situation.
So true. Now, I know last time you were here, Mike, you're the team man.
Yeah.
You are the tea man, and you made kawa tea last time we were here to help calm everybody down. But I believe there's some other teas that are actually available in your supermarket, your health food store, available to help, because you've just been talking about hormonal balances as well and the effects of that on stress. You've got the Artemis PMT Ease tea, which is delicious. I have some in my cupboard. You've got Rest and Relax tea over there from Purity. You've got Sleep Well tea, which is amazing, and the De-Stress tea. Are these a go-to, Mike, in your professional opinion?
Definitely. I drink them every day, several times a day.
He does.
Definitely in the evening to help wind down. The cool thing about the herbs that help de-stress, just to tie it into what we were talking about before, is they tend to be plants high in essential oils. So you're actually consuming a very, very low dose of what if you use essential oils topically.
Wow.
So they tend to be similar type plants and similar compounds.
Wow.